contact today. Because I think propagation between us and generally east of the Mississippi, I think is closing. 7-3, be advised, this is the only frequency on which I operate. It's a long and interesting story as to why, I'm told. If you're not familiar with it, the next time we have propagation and you have the inclination, I'll be happy to give you the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. Until then, I wish you some good evening.
KO4 KRB for Victor Echo 7 Kilo Foxtrot Mike.
Bye-bye. Anybody else before I pull the plug?
Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo. Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo.
I hear somebody else there maybe coming back to me, but my noise a little bit not very strong. Yes, perhaps some other day. I operate exclusively on this frequency. Next time we have propagation, and I'll take a half an hour of your life, even for the Cliff Notes.
Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo. Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo. Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo. Calling Victor Echo 7 Kilo Foxtrot Mike.
Location of state among them, so I can turn my beam towards you if need be. You're not very strong. You're barely above my noise, but you work off your over and over.
Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo, Florida. Point your beam towards Florida. Kilo Oscar 4 Kilo Romeo Bravo. This is Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo in Florida, calling Radio Canada, Victor Echo 7, Kilo Foxtrot Mike.
If it was that you got your license yesterday, my congratulations again. But as you can gather from my reply, I did not copy much else from your last transmission. There's a small chance you may be in Arizona, so let me see. I'm east of Sutherland. Let me see what happens when I turn my beam towards Sutherland. And if I'm wrong, you'll probably still hear me, but I will not. So we'll see what happens now. Go ahead. I'm just down the street from you. If I'm hitting you 20 over S9, I'm just down the street from you. But funny, you're now S9 yourself. I'm just down the street from you. I copy Utah.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo listening.
About 1,500 miles north-northwest from you, over. Roger, nothing wrong with an inverted V dipole, especially if you can get it up high. If you can get it up to about 65 feet at the center, boy, dipoles work very well well at that height. I was trying to be funny with you. I hope you hoisted that in. I'm in Victoria, on the extreme west coast of Canada, about 100 miles northwest from your Seattle. I'm running 150 watts into a 5-element homemade monoband upward wavelength now looking at you. Over.
Sierra Victor, frequencies in use.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo, listening.
Roger, Roger. You sound a bit young, but you're wise. You're wise. As you get older, it's most unwise to be climbing things. Although at 75, I still climb my own tower. I have a harness and a belt. I don't use them both, of course. But still, it gets increasingly difficult and dangerous, of course. Always dangerous. So that's a good plan that you've got there. Yeah, catenary from which to hang your dipole. If you have a single point nearby that's relatively unobstructed, or even the arrangement that you've got currently, if you want to experiment, try an equilateral triangle, up to 20 meters. The usual formula, 1005 or something like that, divided by frequency in megahertz, will give you the length of wire in feet and decimals of feet. And feed it 1/4 wavelength on 20 meters down from the upper apex. And you could, in a pinch, you can feed it just with RG58 coax. And it works really well in 2 directions. It's bidirectional. It's a little quieter, and it gives you a little bit of gain over a dipole. Over. Amazing. If I were to judge you simply by your voice, I would have said you were in your late teens, maybe early 20s, with stunted development of the gonads, because you have a high, no offense meant, you have a relatively higher pitched voice and such. And being a new general, I made assumptions, but you know what they say about people who make assumptions. Anyhow, yeah, you're right. I used to do a little bit of parachute jumping. I used to fly. And heights don't bother me that way. It's when the earth comes rushing up at you rather quickly, not under your control. And also seeing the tower sort of disappear, in perspective as you're on top of it, looking down. It's that connection between Earth and you that I don't like. The flimsy connection, typically. If I'm up 1,000 feet in an airplane, I'm okay. If I'm up a couple thousand feet jumping out of an airplane, well, I'm not okay, but I've done it more than once because I wanted to be able to do it if I ever had to do it. And then, you take your chances. Things happen whether you like it or not. And hopefully they have a happy ending. But going up on a tall ladder always worries me. And going up in a tower always worries me. So when I look down, the best thing to do is not to look down, of course. The sort of the perspective just gives me the willies. Over.
KO4 KRB listening.
Roger, I think it's that flimsy connection to ground, and it's sort of your brain is saying, yep, you took 20 steps to get here, and it will be a splat when you get down the wrong way, and so on. I put up this tower on my own with, well, I was in my 60s when I did it, and early 60s, and I had a man who was 75 years old helping me push on the rope, you know. We had to block and tackle and all that. And I ended up standing on the very top of the tower on a top plate, with my feet on the top plate. I had a short mast coming out of the tower, and I had a boat around that mast, but the tower was very flimsy up top. And I did the snatch and lift on my antenna. The 5-element monovander on 20 meters is quite a handful. I did a snatch and lift, but to put it in the final position, I wanted it as high as possible above the top of the tower. I won't do that again. And that was after spending the better part of 6 hours up on the tower, getting it up and buttoning everything up, and then getting the antenna up there. I'll tell you, when I got down, my legs were like jello. Over. Roger, so do you have a tower? What kind of tower do you have, or are you thinking of getting a tower? Roger, well, there are such antennas. Towers, I should say. I use the word interchangeably sometimes. Long story as to why. There are towers, fold-over towers. You have to be careful they're not homemade or home modified, because, you know, towers can be dangerous at the best of times. And the fold-over types fold over on command. They also fold over sometimes due to accident. And it makes that unholy mess and shears off all sorts of things, and shear off hands and feet and that sort of stuff. There are crank-up towers that go up vertically only. Then there are crank-up towers that you can lean over. But you know, you're asking a lot of the engineering for those things. And the better engineered ones, military towers, effectively. A local friend of mine here has one. Goes up to about 110 feet. Multi-section. You know, you're really going to do your engineering of the support, the cement and all that properly, up to spec, and maybe over. And, you know, be aware, you're talking about you know, virtually tons of metal that's moving, motorized in his case, and you know, tilting it over can be quite a chore again. Hydraulics are often involved, but if it's engineered and built right, it can be a very easy and safe way of working on antennas. And we constantly work on our antennas. Although having said that, my 5-element is still up there 20 years after the fact, and I just touched wood. Hopefully I won't have to repair it. Its next evolutionary stage will be to bring it down, I expect, and I probably won't be the one. I'll probably get a crane and be done with it. Over. Don't let me steer you in any one or the other direction. You know, I gave you the best overview that I could give you, but it was just an overview, very broad at that. If you're thinking of a crank-up tower, I would recommend you go up to about 65 feet, because that's the magic height on 20 meters for the antenna. Or, you know, you can have it on a mast above the tower, but you don't want it, you know, waving on a mast much above the top of the tower, because the forces get multiplied the longer the fulcrum is. Who was it? Archimedes that said, give me a place to stand and a long enough crowbar, and I will move the earth. So, you know, one solution is to get a crank up, but you know, that goes up to about 65 feet or thereabouts. And there are those. And you know, for a tower of that nature, you could crank it up by hand, or you could crank it up with a half-inch electrical drill through a reduction, you know, gearing on the winch. Or you can get a little motorized jobby. But the one thing to really be careful about is not climbing that kind of tower when it's extended. If you get it so that it's got 20-foot sections, 3 sections will give you 60 feet. You nest them, they will be up maybe 25 feet at the top, because they protrude each one a little bit. So if you got you know, if you nested them, you'd have no problem, because it is solidly nested, not resting on the cables. It's safe. And even for safety's sake, you could stick a good solid 2x4 between the rungs, and to make sure it doesn't move at all. And then you could climb the tower without even having a ladder, although you could have a ladder. If you had a 30-foot ladder, there would be no problem. And then you could work on the antenna on the ground, and with maybe a helper, you could get it up there. And then you can raise the tower and have your uncle, as we say in Canada. Over.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo, listening.
Well, congratulations. So I wasn't wrong. I heard yesterday, and from the drift of the noise, because I couldn't copy you, I thought one possibility was that you got your general yesterday. Boy, I'm very honored that you answered my call. And about having time, I'm a decade older than you are, so I have less time. But having said that, there is a new high in the sunspot cycle coming up. And it will be in about 5 years. It will be the top of the sunspot cycle, I expect. And then it will go down again. You can find the exact spot where we are on the 11 or so years sunspot cycle. And it's not written in stone, but it's a pretty good measure. So what I'm saying is the HF propagation is getting better with each passing a year. And you don't want to procrastinate. If you want to, if the HF bug hits you, you should be able to know within a matter of a month if this turns your crank. Like I pulled your leg, I said, I'm just down the street from you. 1,500 miles down the street from you. But even though I was joking, that has an element of truth to it. Because as you probably know from your theory, 1,500 miles is nothing and to what you're capable of achieving connection-wise on HF. At the height of propagation in a handful of years, you'll be able to go halfway around the world in both directions. In other words, you'll have worldwide communication. So that is a worthy goal to aim for. The next year, next 2 years. I wouldn't leave it much longer than that, over.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo listening.
That will all come. Don't worry. That will all come. Get yourself hooked up with one or two radio amateurs whose opinion and advice you trust. Be careful. There are some, blowhards who think they know a lot, and they tend to, well, not tend to, but they can lead others astray. At your age, you've come across many people. You're probably a reasonable judge of character. Get some advice, do a bit of reading. I wouldn't rush it. It doesn't have to be this year. You could do a lot with wire antennas. You could try that delta loop that I just mentioned to you. You should always have 2 antennas, by the way, minimum of 2 antennas. One will work better than the other, and then you figure out why. And if it's consistently better than the other, consistently, under various conditions, then, work on a third antenna. Get rid of the one that didn't work out that well. Because presumably, you don't have room for unlimited antennas. And so bootstrap your way up the antenna ladder. But when it comes to towers, sighting the tower is important. You know, you don't want to be near large trees because they will suck a little bit of energy and distort your pattern of a beam, which I'm sure you'll eventually want to get. Also think in terms of using the tower as a hanging point for wire antennas. So maybe, well, one of the best things to do, I don't know how big your lot is, maybe you've got acreage, but is to take a surveyor's plan, and typically you get that with your title. A survey was probably done sometime during the life of your property, and get a copy made, or two, and then start in light pencil figuring out where to put your tower. You know, various things come into play. You don't want it too far away from the house or where your operating shack will be, because the longer the run of coax, the more loss. But, you know, you may need to have it a little further away because of soil conditions, or because your wife wants to have the patio for barbecues or what have you, or she considers a tower to be ugly or what have you. I've known radio amateurs whose wives gave the fellow an ultimatum: get rid of the tower or I'm leaving you. And they got rid of the tower and she left him anyway. Over. Roger. Either that or you can get a slightly oversized strength-wise tower that will have more resilience. But it would be good to have some guy wires going down in 3 directions, of course, or even 4 for that matter. But 3 because typical towers are triangular in cross-section. And even a crank-up tower can, you know, you can have guy wires on it. And if you have strong winds, then by all means. And those guy wires need not be super taut, especially when you're raising and lowering and they won't be, when you're raising and lowering the crank-up tower, of course. But then once you have the tower up in the operating position, you get into a habit of tightening up your guy wires, especially if you have a prevailing wind situation, strong wind situation, from a direction certain. The other thing you may then have to think about is how big and how strongly built your antenna needs to be, and the mast. The mast, you know, can be strengthened. The mast that goes inside the tower can be strengthened with an insert, and there are ways of doing that, both aluminum, and you can get masts. Some people make masts out of steel, some of them quite massive, but of course they're very heavy. When you put a heavy chunk of steel way up at 65 feet, you know, you're asking for other problems. But The other thing is, what are the elements of the antenna? How big are they? How wind resilient are they? Is the design? So, trying to remember, Tenadyne. Is it Tenadyne? It's been a while since I played with commercial antennas, but there are some strongly built antennas. Mosley built some physically strong antennas, and if you truly have high winds, then, well, if you have a crank up, and if you're retired, and I think you might be, if not, you should be, you can always lower the tower. You can lower the antenna down to its nesting position, and at 20 some odd feet, even a howler of a wind will be much, much less at 20 feet than it is at 65 feet because of the interaction of the earth and local buildings and trees and things. But these are things you need to consider. I would spend a year. I would spend a year playing with antennas and reading up on towers and antennas, keeping an eye out, for a used crank-up tower of the 60 to 75 foot range, but heavily built, preferably motorized. It might cost you, $500, $1,000. But remember, an antenna and tower, but antenna, of course, is more than 50% of a radio station as far as effectiveness is concerned. So $1,000, you shouldn't begrudge $1,000 on a tower, especially if it's ideal for your situation. So I would spend a year. I wouldn't put it up this year. I would play with wire antennas and don't worry about etiquette. There is no etiquette left in amateur radio. Just
What? KO4KRB listening?
to people who are nice to you. Cut the ones off at the knees who are nasty to you, and carry on doing your own thing. Over.
KO4KRB listening.
You didn't give me your name. My call sign is Victor Echo 7 Kilowatt Foxtrot Mike, and my name is KAROL. My QTH is Victoria, on the west coast of Canada, about 100 miles northwest from your Seattle, on the southern tip of the largest island on the west coast of the Americas, north or south. And be advised, this is the only frequency on which I operate, when I operate. But I haven't operated as often as I used to, which is another story in and of itself, which I'll tell you someday if you're interested.
We want to hear the story, Carl.
Roger, Dale. Dale, a little word of advice.
Yes.
On HF,
Yes,
especially when conditions aren't ideal. Today's conditions between us are okay.
That's it right there.
To make sure that you're handing off the conversation to your partner or to the other station, it's best to say over when you're finished, because when it gets marginal, it's difficult. And there is a QRMer. I don't know if you know what that acronym means. There is a malicious interference, a malicious station interfering with us, interfering with your signal, which you may not have been hearing. Probably well-trained CBer who tries to plug my ears by making screeching noises on top of your signal. Just to be aware of that, Dale. So I think we've done everything for today. I'm getting a little hoarse. It's 1900 hours, just past 1900 locally. And it's getting dusk.
Yep.
And it's time for me to make some tea. And I was going to have a little bit of... hey, no, I was going to say I finished it. No, I didn't. I have a piece of chocolate cake left. Oh, that's wonderful. The evening has just brightened for me. H.I. H.I. That's laughter originally in code, but people use it also in voice, although it's odd sounding in voice, Dale. Don't worry about the etiquette, it will come. Just be decent, and you are. And, you'll learn the nuances quickly enough. The theory and the practice will come with experience. All's well. And welcome to the heart of the hobby, Dale. Welcome to the hobby in the first instance, and to the heart of HF, which is 20 meters. I hope to talk with you again some other time. I'll shoot it back to you for the final. Kilo November 7, Kilo Whiskey Alpha, a brand new general. This is Victor Echo 7, Kilo Fox Mike.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo listening. See, he's talking to another guy, and we can't hear that side of the conversation. But he's getting ready to fucking leave. Which sucks. I'm trying to get a hold of this dude for a week.
Roger, Dale. Dale, look up NATO standard phonetics, and you memorize them if you haven't already. Not difficult, Alpha Bravo Charlie. I'm ex-military, and I can read NATO standard phonetics in my sleep. And it really does help when things get difficult on HF voice. With that, I'm going to wish you well, 7-3, which is greetings and farewell. 7-3 until the next time on this frequency. And thank you for saying your call sign. Remember, you got 10 minutes between IDs, minimum. Minimum of 10 minutes. There is radio police out there. Some of them are psychopaths, and I'll report you if you don't identify every 10 minutes. Unlike us in Canada, well, in my Canada, actually, I have special dispensation, Dale. I don't have to identify at all because I'm rockbound. My middle name is Prometheus, from Greek mythology. I'm chained to this rock, this frequency. So as a consequence, in my Canada, I got special dispensation. I don't have to identify. because I am Radio Canada. By the way, I own the trademark in the phrase Radio Canada. But that was thanks to an American psychopath, for which I'm not grateful. Anyhow, Dale, it's been a slice. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe you learned a thing or two, although, you know, not from me, I'm sure. And perhaps we'll talk again. And by the way, to the QRMers, to the person interfering, you should be ashamed of yourself. Haven't you got a schoolyard to shoot up or something? Don't you have somebody to kill? We haven't had a good American shoot 'em up on the news this weekend. I love a good American shoot 'em up. Dale, keep your sense of humor and your pecker up, as I sometimes say. 7-3 and good evening.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo. Hey, Carl, you got a second? Victor Echo 7, Kilo Foxtrot Mike, over.
Kilo Charlie 0, Golf Sierra Echo question mark. I'm still around.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo, over. This mother.
The other day, when I was talking with you, you told me that there was some RF noise creeping in with my audio. Wanted to see if I got this investigated today. I'm on a different radio.
Kilo Charlie 0, Golf Fox Golf, Victor Echo 7, Kilo Fox Mike returning. Thank you very much for the return engagement. There is still some RF, but not as bad as it was the other day, if my memory serves. But there's still some RF. I'm almost certain it's RF creeping into your audio chain. Over.
Dude, he's acting like he can't hear me, and I talked to his fucking buddy today, too.
Okay, since we went through this, or tried to last time,
Yeah,
if you want, I'll help you set up the mic gain and the compression. Do you want to do that? Okay, do you have a metering circuit where it allows you to measure your PLC?
KO4 KRB listening. God, he should be able to fucking hear me, bro. I'm just gonna blast it.
Okay, reduce the mic gain by half. Reduce the mic gain by half. Change nothing else. Okay, reduce it by half again. I'm not sure we're talking about the same mic gain. Maybe you're talking about audio gain. There was absolutely no change in your signal strength, and you should have come down quite significantly since we went down 3/4 of the mic gain, presumably.
Canada,
So
yeah.
double check that you're adjusting the mic gain. Over.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo, listening. Yeah, I want to get him to... I think that's why he's not answering me.
Okay, you dropped down that time, but I'm not sure if that was you or propagation. AGC is for your receive audio. That's receive audio only. Automatic gain control. It normally is engaged, but it's for your receive only. It does not affect the mic gain in your on your transmit. Over.
Yeah, and as soon as I asked his buddy, I said, hey. I said, that's weird. His sign doesn't come up in QRZ.
Okay, leave it there. I tell you, whatever is causing the RF to creep into the radios, both ICOMs, both more or less of the same vintage, judging by the model numbers, is happening. So that tells me that it's your antenna that's feeding RF back along the coax, or as a possibility, but not a probability, creeping in by way of your power cable. But coax is the one that I think is causing you the grief. Now, remember we talked about making a couple of donuts out of some spare coax that you may have, underfoot in your ham shack. Can you pull a little bit of coax from outside, on the cable and make a couple of loops over? Roger. I was just listening quite intently to your signal this last transmission, and I would say it is at par to what it was the other day. In other words, no improvement at all. So it's most likely the feed line. Now, just if you did do the thing on the power cord, don't know why. The power cord should be as short as possible as well. And if they're not, if you can swap out the power cord, make it a shorter one. If it's, depend what kind it is, of course. If it's one of the modern ones, you can get shorter and longer versions. And then, take the shortest one. But make sure they're separated from the coax. Make sure that they're separated from the coax by as long a distance as possible, because if there is radiation coming back along the coax, you know, it's the shield that's radiating, and if the power cable is close by, it will pick up that way. So you'll be chasing two tails instead of one. But a balun may or may not solve your problem. You should get some clamp-on ferrite. Clamp-on ferrite beads, or beads, whatever. Clamp-on ferrite. You can buy them in radio stores, and they clamp on the coax. I presume you have RG8 size coax, and these will clamp on. If you get the right size, they'll clamp on quite nicely. And you get a handful of them, and you add one and add two, add three at distances until you knock down the RF creeping into your audio. You might even put one on your audio cable, although that's not where the radiation is coming from. The radiation is coming from the coax, almost certainly. Over.
KO4 KRB listening.
Roger. Well, good luck with the snow. We're hoping that we're past that here on the Palm Coast of Canada. There are only essentially two sizes of coax commonly encountered, and they're the thin version and the RG8 size. Essentially half an inch in diameter. But as far as low loss is concerned, while size does typically correlate with lower loss, bigger the size, the lower the loss. The loss is actually an attribute of the construction of the dielectric in the coax. Nylon, PTFE, or whatever the hell it is. There are some fast or low-loss coax that get very pricey. RG213 is good. RG214 is double-shielded military spec, which I've had a whole roll of. And then you can get into some very expensive stuff, still in the half-inch diameter size, so you can use the same coax connectors as a rule. And then you get into some really esoteric stuff, nitrogen charged, 1-inch diameter and so on, but that's for heavy power, and low-loss broadcast stations use that. One small bit of advice, don't take this badly, but it will save you ridicule for some of the bottom feeders in our hobby. The gizmo you're buying is called a balun. Small point, but as an immigrant, non-native English speaker, I have the scars of of not pronouncing words correctly when I was learning my English, which had its benefits, that trial by combat. It had its benefits. I promised myself I'll make first in some English class some year, and I did.
I knew he was going to say that.
Never looked back.
And I did.
I have more degrees and diplomas than a Mexican has initials. But I sometimes put the accent on the wrong syllable just to remind me how far I've come. Over.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo, listening. Well, dude, I wish you... I know once I get to talk to him for a second, in about 3 seconds, I'm going to get this dude, not the dude you're hearing right now. He's going to go fucking bananas. I can't believe they can't fuck... Dude, he won't respond. So fucking crazy, man.
Roger. So you knew about that, so you didn't take offense, so that's good. Listen, I won't keep it. Work on it. It's still there. It goes up and down a bit. The distortion. But it's still there. There's somebody calling me.
Oh, come on.
He's insistent. We may have been somebody I've talked before.
Let's go.
Friendly enough. So I'm going to finish with you, if I may. Pick up whoever was calling me, and then I'm going to go and make my cup of tea and have my last piece of tourist cake. So with that, I'm going to wish you well, and hope to talk with you again some other time. Kilo Charlie 0, Golf, Foxtrot Golf. And you're going to have to use emphasis and NATO standard on your suffix because it lends itself to mischief. Foxtrot and Sierras are easily confused. Over.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo. Oh, yeah. He's talking about me, the one who keeps calling and being persistent. I fucking 1,000. I can still hear that. I can still hear the other guy. Once he's done with this other guy, I'm getting in. Shit, dude, I'm getting nervous. Why is that happening?
Roger, you have a better one, and thank whoever you talked to for the fair report. I have been accused of much worse, and sometimes I'm guilty. But, I call a spade, you know what, when it richly deserves it. And I don't take any more guff. I'm 75 and counting, and I've got the scars to prove it. I've got a chip on my shoulder now the size of a boulder, and I'm not taking it anymore. 7-3, have a better tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo.
Good evening. Stand by the good evening, Carl. Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo. I heard you call me a couple of times, but you're very, very light. I've got another station waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a few days. This is Kilo Oscar 4, Kilo Romeo Bravo. Do you copy? Over?
Barely. Over.
Okay. Well, maybe I should I turn my mic gain up? Over?
Maybe you should to turn something on. I couldn't hear what it was you were thinking of turning on. If you have to think it, you're going too slow. Over.
Okay, well, I was just curious. Why does your name not come up in QRZ?
Why does my name not come up on QRZ, the wholly owned subsidiary of QAnon? Is that what you said?
Yeah, we had a QSO a few days ago, and then I looked you up on QRZ to log it because I'm a new general, and it didn't come up, and I figured you're so experienced, I just Googled your name, and then all this crazy stuff came up, and I was just wondering, I've been trying to get a hold of you for days, literally trying to figure out why are these people saying this about you online, and I can't find you. I just don't get it. What's going on? Over.
I don't know how old you are, but I don't know if you have enough time left on this earth. I certainly don't, to explain everything about that. I don't think I have enough time. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. In a manner of speaking, you could say that was a skill-testing series of questions which you should pose to yourself. And try to figure out the truth based on. Well, I hate to mislead you, but maybe your own ears, your own central processor, and the manner of our interaction so far. That you might want to give. You might want to give what you heard and what you experienced directly with me some weight. And maybe less weight on what you read on the worldwide wasteland, and maybe draw some conclusions from that, and maybe ask Donald Trump if he has a view on it, because most of the stuff written on the worldwide wasteland
Motherfucker can hear me perfect, huh?
An early radio amateur version of Donald Trump. In other words, he loves to spin. It's all single sourced, by the way. When you track it all down,
he's gonna love this.
It's all single sourced. It's a psychopath. And he went to Trump University, and he would much rather lie than tell the truth, because it's more fun for him. And if it gets down to the short strokes, he can always tell the truth, presumably, although...
Understood. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, no, I was definitely shocked, because I know we had a good conversation. I've heard you a few times, and you've always given great information, and so they're basically doing to you what they're doing to Trump right now. Honestly, geez, I'm sorry to hear that. Over.
You so correctly. If you can't figure it out, let's say within 24 hours, I would strongly recommend you do not vote. You do not vote. Because, well, let me just be charitable and say, don't vote.
Yeah, I won't vote because we have Dominion machines counting our votes, just like in Venezuela. Over.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. If you can't figure out what has been happening, then in 24 hours, over 2 cups of coffee maximum, maybe 1 drink maximum, and then I would recommend you give up your amateur radio and, above all, don't vote. Over.
Yeah, there's no reason to vote here, unfortunately. Unfortunately, our voting system is done on the same Venezuela Dominion machine, so there's not really much of a point. KO4KRB, over.
Well, there was some Dominion machines. Oh yeah, don't you know that Dominion machines are Canadian made? We put in a special back door. By the way, my detractor likes back doors. He's a faggot. He's a faggot. He likes back doors, if you follow my drift. He likes rim jobs. But getting back to Dominion voting machines, they're a Canadian invention. The company was originally Canadian, out of Toronto, where I grew up. And we have a back door in those machines. And so you don't have to vote. You don't have to vote. We'll fix it for the next time as well. We're going to fix the vote for the next presidential race. It's all over for you all. Over?
Oh, no, I don't know what we're ever going to do. I guess we'll just keep on trucking the same way we always have. I'm glad to see that you guys made those Dominion sheets, because that's the only thing Canada's ever made besides the little, what's that syrup y'all make out of the trees? Over.
Okay, you know, I am really quite amazed. For someone with whom I had a very constructive QSO, one of the first you've had, I'm sure, of that length and that quality, probably the first Canadian contact. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we left on very, very good terms. You seem to have some strange views about Canadians. I'm very disappointed in you. You know, I don't know why you're feeble-minded. You seem to be feeble-minded, to be charitable. Did you buy your license by any chance? Did you marry a first cousin? Does anybody in your family suffer from mental disease? And you know, are you a member of QAnon? Because you know, you went looking for me on QueerZ. Well, did you know that QueerZ is wholly owned by QAnon? Over?
I did not know that, and no, we did have a good conversation. And then you have some pretty strange views on America as well. So that's why I've been trying to get a hold of you, just to clear the air. I mean, by your response right now, it sounds like, I don't know. I guess maybe we were both mistaken. Maybe. I don't know. I'd love to clear the air, though. I mean, these people are accusing you of crazy things, and I've heard the audio on YouTube of you saying some terrible things about America. It's terrible things about a lot of things I don't even care to mention over radio. And it's 100% your call and your voice. So, I don't know. I don't know why you would take such offense to such a short slight after the things you've said. I don't understand. Over.
Well, I think the operative word with you is you don't understand. It's obvious you don't understand. You shouldn't be making any judgments based on what you read on the internet. You shouldn't be making any judgments on audio you hear on the internet. Have you not paid any attention to the news over the last 6 months? Have you heard of ChatGPT or whatever the fuck it's called? You know, Tom Cruise was mimicked so convincingly, not only in voice but also in video, that you'd swear it was Tom Cruise. You probably watch Fox News. Do you watch Fox News? Okay, I have two questions for you, and that will probably finish our conversation. I'd rather finish it, you know, on a so-so note, because American mental disease is contagious, even by radio, apparently. So I gotta be careful. It's called self-preservation. You understand? I hope you don't take that personally if it doesn't apply to you. But let me ask you a question. Did you vote for Donald Trump once, twice? And if he's the nominee, will you vote for him the third time? That's essentially the first question, a three-parter. question is, where do you get your daily news? Is it Fox News by any chance? Spelled the French way, F-A-U-X, Fox News. So answer the questions, please. Over.
You got it. No, I am a bootlicker. I voted for Obama. Thank you very much. And then I voted for the greatest president we've ever had, Mr. Joseph Biden. And my news, I get directly from CNN or the Young Turks. Over.
Well, you really surprised me. Congratulations. That's not bad. The simple MSNBC. Watch a little bit of CNN, although, you got to be aware. They also have an agenda. All of them, of course. Well, watch BBC. Watch them. Maybe tune in to CBC. We in Canada call it the Chinese Broadcasting Corporation at times. We've got an incipient scandal brewing in the background of Chinese influence in Canada. But, PBS is not a bad cut either. Very good, very good. But don't jump to conclusions by reading what's on the worldwide wasteland. Because Section 230 of your Radio Communications Act is ruining your country. And it's going to bring it down. And I tell you, I'm going to rub my hands in glee if it really blows your country up, as it's in the process of doing it. Section 230 of the Communications Indecency Act. The only thing Donald Trump and I have in common, he didn't like this Section 230 when he got booted off Twitter. And I don't like Section 230 because every American household is entitled to his opinion. And it's all valid because it's American. America's going down. I hope you realize it. The Section 230 and your manifest destiny and your special, status in the world. You've been contemplating your belly button and that huge expanse of a belly, and I'm not talking specifically about you, I'm talking about the average bloated American. You're going down and you don't even know it. And I tell you, I will be very happy because I've been warning about the lies, including monstrous lies, perpetrated as a consequence of your Section 230 around the world, and no one listened for the last 20 plus years. But oh well, I'm going to hoist a glass of a good beer, good Canadian beer, when you get thoroughly fucked the next time. You're a nation of men, not of laws. Look how long it's taken the Department of Justice and Merrick the Whip Garland to continue playing with his dick. You don't want to pursue the evidence where it leads, but you keep repeating the mantra that you're a nation of laws, not a nation of men. Bullshit. You're a nation of men, powerful, well-connected, wealthy, white men with no morals. When I grow up, I want to be able to reach and fondle a woman's vagina at will, just like your Donald Trump. And for those listening who do not know what a vagina is, I think in the American vernacular, it's called a cunt. I know that word. I remember distinctly the first day I realized I told you, bro, what it meant by my uncle.
I told you.
Because in Europe, a cunt is an angle. When you put a piece of furniture on a cat to get it to the door, as we were doing with a couch, my uncle said, put down the couch. you need to know something about the word cunt. Don't use it in North America. So, you're fucked. And I want to be able to reach and play with a woman's cunt with a great abandon, just like your president did. Over?
Okay. So, like, the audio I'm seeing is shot on a shitty cell phone on 14.313, but that doesn't even matter. So, at any rate, do you support Al-Qaeda? Over?
Allah Akbar, motherfuckers. Of course I do. Of course I do. Allah Akbar.
Tell me this
Allah
is
Akbar, Habibi. Allah Akbar.
Tell me this is streaming, Jimmy. Okay, gotcha. Well, that tells me that probably the other things are true then too. So that's good to know. I guess everyone's just conspiring against you. Over.
Well, no, not. Just suck back and reload. Brian Crow, K3 Vomit Radio, who is the psychopath I mentioned, who is the single source behind it all, only for 20 years, who got nailed by the FCC and the Department of Justice, even though they thought they had the Department of Justice under Trump in their pocket. He first reported me as a Islamophobe was the word. I was nominated for the Islamophobe of the Year award because I called the 9/11 hijackers ragheads, just for shorthand. They didn't really wear Arabic headdress, but still. So Brian Crow reported me, and I was listed on a short list together with George Bush and Condoleezza douchebag Rice, his Secretary of State, as a nominee for the Islamophobe Award. So, to show my bona fides, I subsequently kept calling out for Al-Qaeda, as in Allah Akbar, and motherfuckers, of course, because it goes well with Allah Akbar. 20th anniversary of the unnecessary war in Iraq. What can I say? Allah Akbar, you motherfuckers. And what part of that don't you understand? Over?
Well, I just don't understand a lot of it. So you don't strike me as a religious man. Would that be correct? Over?
Oh, I'm religious. When I read the Bible, and I have in more than one language. In fact, I even tried it in Latin. Pater noster qui es in celi sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, etc., etc. Something you wouldn't know anything about. But I love the
sure
Bible. There's a lot of heing
right
and
there.
sheing, as in fucking, as in begetting in the Bible, and killing too. I think you're the second chosen people in stupid land. Over.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was going to be a quicker answer. So it's funny that you support Al-Qaeda because that's a religious war to them. So so if you hate America, just let me ask you, why should I hate America? Over.
I don't think you should hate America. I don't hate America. I did something that you haven't done. I served shoulder to shoulder with American officers, you motherfucker. Over.
Oh, really? Okay. Where?
What was that? Did you have a snort, or can you speak in full sentences? or these full phrases, I'm having trouble copying you, not just because of propagation, but because of your poor English structure, English sentence structure. Over.
KO4 KRB. Yeah, so I didn't know that you needed full sentences. I thought my point was getting across, and it seems to be. But at any rate, yeah, they say, yeah, there's some people who say some stolen valor stuff. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what you've done. I don't necessarily care. I was just curious on your stance about, you know, America, because I live here. So I was just kind of curious about it because I've heard you say some things online. So just interested to hear in why that is, and if there's an explanation as to why you have that opinion. Over.
Well, I can barely copy you, and we're not going to get finished today. So call me again on Good Propagation Day. You're probably hearing me much better, and so is half of Stupid Land. But if you don't know why I have a burr under my saddle, then you know you'll need to walk you know in my footsteps for 20 plus years with this American psychopath and his gang. To make a long story short, I was accused of the most brutal, conveniently unsolved murder in my city by the very self-same Brian Crow, and he's next. And if you don't want to be on that list, you better be careful what you say and how you ask your stupid questions. And you know, on second thought, you're too stupid. You're too stupid to explain it to you. Obviously, we had a very good first contact, one of your very first in amateur radio. Although you probably are well trained in the chicken band arts. And on the second contact, you are attacking me. What can I say? Good luck in the contest. And may Al-Qaeda shove a hot poker up your ass. Bye.
I didn't know we were leaving on a bad note. You seem to have taken offense to something. You can say the most offensive things, but I can't ask you one question without you being offended. So you really are a little snowflake, I guess. Over.
There was something about snowflakes. Yeah, listen, I think you lied to me. I think you voted for Donald Trump the first time. I think you voted for him the second time. I think you're stupid enough to vote for him for the third time. What can I say? Did I ever tell you that American brand of mental instability is contagious? You lost over 1 million people largely because of Donald Trump. That wasn't such a bad thing, to the extent that a slight majority of those who died probably were of the right-wing wacko variety, got their news from Fox News and listened to the prescriptions of the unstable genius, you know, gargle with Javex and all that. So 1 million fewer Americans is a good thing. Over.
Yeah, I don't see how, but okay. At any rate, I still don't know why you took offense. For someone who speaks so eloquently and goes on and so elaborate, I just don't understand why you don't answer like simple questions. Why I just don't get it. Over.
You don't get it because you don't know how much QRM there is on top of your puny little fuck-up signal, and I can't hear you even when there's no one QRMing you. And additionally, I think you're too stupid, and I can't hear your question, so I can't fucking answer your question. Capiche, paisan?
You've heard me every time. Every time you've heard me. It's actually hilarious. So now you're just, again, using some bullcrap excuse as to why not you're not answering a simple question. Over.
Make America great again. Shoot someone.
Hey, why are you mad? Over. Why are you so mad? Over. Why are you so mad, Radio Canada? Over. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Over. Someone hurt his feelings. KO4 KRB. Man. Crazy, dude. I did it. I got him to go off. That's good. Been trying that for a week, bro. Coming back? Now we're all. Oh yeah, they're going nuts, bro.
You've been hanging around the wrong plot, George. You're going down, motherfucker. Should have found you friends. You're gonna lose your license when I get done with you, motherfucker. I think you're wrong, Charles, because I have a friend, policeman. I have a friend, fireman.
Oh, bro, this is crazy. Bro, they're fucking doing CW on the line now because they're so pissed.
This is acceptable conduct to be policemen and racers, to be, policemen and the bully. I'm going to say what a bully knows.
They're sending CW and they're purposely distorting it to get him off.
Something stupid like that. More trouble than we'll know what to do with it. And there's just no way that could happen in Chicago because I guess the police department is run different way, under different rules and regulations, and so is the fire department. So
talk to the here,
What's your call sign? What's your call sign? Need his call sign. Damn. Damn, this guy's fucking
I'm going to own your house when I get done with you, George.
Yeah. His name isn't George, it's fucking Carl. Yeah. Holy fuck, dude.
Why don't you both jump off a bridge? I am going to sue you, George. I hope you can hear me through the Canadian terrorist. I am going to sue you. I am going to own you when I get done. George,
Holy fuck.
act like an asshole and act like a braggart and a bigot that you are. But when I get done with you,
Oh my god.
dead. I am going to sue you. I'm going to own you. You will be mine. And on top of that, you did, George. You. For what you did, George. I will make sure of that. Oh, why would I have
Yeah, it is, bro.
You like talking to your friend. You better tell
It is.
he probably
I'm glad it was all recorded.
lawyer up in Chicago ready to go. I'm going to sue George. I'm going to phone George, and I'm going to work with the Federal Communication Commission to get him de-licensed. He's going down. Case, obviously. How it goes. Kyle, this is 5 o'clock, and I think I will call the for now, like
Bro, I just rusted this kid. Jimmy, I just rusted this guy, dude. I used my rust skills. I said, dude, I cannot believe. I knew I was going to get him to go off. I told you, 3 seconds. I was like, dude.
Nice talking to you. 73. This is 79 VETB. Okay, George. I'm going to own you when I get done, George. I'm going to sue you. Get ready. I've got an attorney I have hired in Chicago. I'm going to sue you when this is all done. And I'm going after your license because you should not have done what you did. I am going after your license, George. I don't think you did any more problems, George. I'm going to sue you. I'm going after your license. And I will aggravate the crap. You should not have done what you did. You're going to get away from mechanical stuff. To sue you, George. I have an attorney in Chicago, Illinois that I have hired. $1,000. I'm going to sue you, George. I am going to sue you for what you did. You should not have called my employer. You're going down, George. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue your wife. I'm going to put a claim on your homeowner's insurance. I'm going to sue you, George. Do you understand that? Don't answer that, George. I'm going to sue you, George. I will sue you. I am going to bring legal action against you up in Cook County. Do you understand that, George? Goodbye. Bring legal action. County, Illinois, George. I'm going to sue you. Do you understand that?
Holy fuck.
The train is coming down the track.
He said they called his employer. They're doing those noises on purpose, too, to try to get everyone off the ban. He's putting his call sign out. I can't catch it.
I am suing you, George. I am taking you to court. I am suing you. I'm suing your wife. In fact, I'm going to sue your homeowner's insurance. Do you have good homeowner's insurance, George? Because I'm suing you. By the way, they're Carl the Pollock faggot. Riley and Brian both. Hey, Delray, Florida. Back on. And I can't control mine, so I would just shit in your face. Hey, Pollock faggot. George, I'm suing your wife. I'm going into your first insurance. Do you have a good attorney, George? Do you have a good attorney, George? Because you're going to need it when I get done with you, George. Idle threats. No. They're not idle threats. He crossed the line and called my employer. Therefore, I have hired an attorney in Cook County, Illinois, and I'm going to sue N9PPD because he decided to listen to the terrorist asshole out there in British Columbia. And because he joined forces with the asshole out there in British Columbia, and he decided to call my employer because he didn't like what I had to say, I am now going to sue him and his insurance. He was Oscar. He was there anonymously. I'm suing you, George. I hope you realize that. Get ready. I hope you.
Damn.
Do you want my call sign, sir?
Yep.
Okay, here's my call sign. Here I am. Identified him.
Huh.
You trying to go in? I go bullshit on your Pollock faggot. Yeah, George, I'm going to sue you. Do you understand? I'm going to sue you. I think I'm suing your wife. I'm suing your homeowner's insurance. And I've hired an attorney in Cook County, Illinois. So I'm going to sue you, George. So keep running your damn mouth. I've got all the tapes. I've got all the letters. I've got everything you've done. I'm suing you, George. I'm going after you. Get ready. I've got a playbook. Let's rock. So get ready, George. I'm suing you. I'm suing your wife. I'm suing your homeowner's insurance. You should not have wrote that letter to my employer. I'm suing you, George. Now, you're a broken record. You've already said it 30 times. Well, I'm making sure he hears it. For my call sign. And there you go.
Damn.
George, get ready. Get ready. I hope you're not going out of town soon. You have a lot of work to do when I get done. I am suing you, George, because you should not have done what you did. It was not called for. It was not necessary. And I have a great lawsuit out there in Cook County, Illinois. Goodbye, George.
Holy fuck, dude. What the fuck is happening? Holy snipes. Oh yeah, for certain, bro. Bro, I have. That's the guy that was just VE7. That's what we were just talking to. Yeah, that was crazy, bro. That was crazy. Bruh. That was nuts. Damn, bro. I'm like still in shock. I'm like, holy shit. I guess I'll get off here and play it back. Hear how it went. But yeah. Alright. Alright, dudes. I'm out. Y'all have a good night.